Alright, hey everyone, welcome to Age of Empires 2. Today I have some situational cheese. So situational, in fact, that it pretty much just takes a giant crap on any word that can be anagrammed into metagame. So, let's take a look at this because you probably want to know how to do it, and watch me do it. So, pretty much it relies on a bunch of circumstances. Now let me explain because you're probably more confused than a homeless man on house arrest. Basically, you have to be playing as the Mongols. If you aren't playing as the Mongols, this won't work on any map whatsoever. And the map is also hugely important. It has to be a high hunt map, like Scandinavia, where you only have hunts pretty much, no berries really. You do have sheep, but you're not going to touch your sheep the whole time. So it has to be Scandinavia or a similar map. It could be Highland, but Highland is a pretty closed map, and the only way to do this strategy without killing yourself is to rush as fast as possible. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to rush as fast as possible. I'm going to have pretty much no eco until I can try and save myself in the late early game and the beginning of the mid game. But I neglected loom completely right there, and I gathered my first boar right away. And I did have my villagers on wood, on a straggler tree to be exact, because you want a lot of wood. Wood and food are quintessential to this build order, and you have to have exactly enough of them. But I trained all of my villagers that I could with my initial food, and now I'm getting loom, and that's just so I can lure my next boar without having to worry. That's another circumstance, actually. You can't have lag. No lag whatsoever, because if you have lag, you will definitely lose a villager, your first boar lurer. And when you only have 7 villagers like I do, that's a good chunk of your economy gone. Eventually, you will be at 9 villagers at the end of the Dark Age. We'll get to that in a minute. But that's like a 10th of your economy by then, so it's better just not to lose any. And so I'm luring my second boar. I did start luring him a bit late, but this actually gives me enough time to just grab a little bit of extra wood. And so my villager that I trained after I got loom can build a mill. And then I train another guy soon. And then I send him to wood. You just want 2 villagers on wood right now. And that's it. Those are the only villagers that you will have. And you want to go really heavy into food, of course, just so you can get up to Feudal Age at a decent time. A decent time for this cheese right here is actually like 5 minutes. That's probably like the fastest you could do it. I don't know, I haven't really fully fleshed out this strategy, if you could even call it a strategy. It really is just cheese. This is pretty much the equivalent of a 4-pool in StarCraft, which for those of you who don't really play StarCraft, a 4-pool is pretty much an all-in, where if you screw it up in any way, you will pretty much lose. It's pretty much GG for you. And right as I build my lumber camp right here, which I probably should have built in a better spot, I click the Feudal Age button right there. I was camping on my town center right as I did it, and we're just going to start gathering wood now. Although I do send another villager out to get another boar, because you need food. You need 160 food in order to scout rush as the Mongolians, with 3 scouts. You can't have more than 3 scouts, you can't have less than 3 scouts, because more than 3 scouts gives your opponent too much time, and then they'll reach the Feudal Age before you attack, and then they could get spears out, and if that happens, then your scouts are dead, so you're pretty much screwed there. And so I'm bringing back my boar, and we are going to hunt it down, and we're just going to make sure there's always 160 food in the bank. No more, no less. You could dip less if your economy management is top-notch, and you can regain that food in the time it takes to build a stable and barracks. But I'm just trying to play it safe here. So, yeah. And always make sure you're scouting, because if you aren't scouting, then you can't find your enemy, and if you can't find your enemy, It's not going to be any easier with 3 scouts on the map just going around. in a group trying to look for your opponent. For all we know, in the time it takes you to scout them out, they'll already be in the Feudal Age. But yeah, so right as I hit the Feudal Age, I had enough wood to build a barracks. As you can see, I only have 4 villagers on boar. That's actually really all you need with the Mongol hunting bonus, and you won't waste too much that way. I did send them off, though, to gather wood because we need a stable ASAP. So that's what we're saving up for. Although I do train villagers here and there just to go on boar because I can afford it and still have 160 food left over. Again, if your economy management is better than mine, then you can train villagers willy-nilly. Going under the town center right there. It doesn't really matter, I'm just playing against a moderate computer. I don't know if this works against, well, multiplayer opponents, like actual humans. It should, because of the sheer speed of the rush. But again, the circumstances have to be very specific. You have to have boar within a reasonable distance of your town center, no lag, the map has to be Scandinavia, you have to be playing as the Mongols. So pretty much, unless you were to set up a game like this, this would never happen. So building a stable, because I finally have enough wood for that, and I have a little less than 160, but that will shoot back up in any moment. So yeah, we're just sort of scouting around. I found my opponent, and now the rush is on. So right as this goes up, I start training scouts. Yep, there we go. So actually, again, back to the amount of scouts. You don't want any more than 3, you don't want any less than 3, because as I said, more would mean that your opponent could be in Feudal Age by the time you get them all out, and less, well, if their villagers tag team one of your scouts, then you only have half of your rush left, and that's not really a rush if it's only 1 scout. It's just a scouting party that's trying to distract your villagers. So, yeah. And we have another scout out. In about 30 seconds, this is when most good players, or at least good early game players, will reach the Feudal Age, assuming they clicked up at 9 minutes, which is pretty average for me, and I played only Arabia back when I started playing Age of Empires 2 multiplayer. So my early game is pretty good, my late game not so much, but it's not about me, it's just about time. So right about now, your opponent would be in the Feudal Age, and that's okay, because if they're in the Feudal Age right as your rush starts, they can't really respond too fast, and you can screw up their economy pretty bad in the time it takes to get a satisfactory amount of spearmen out to protect their, well, exterior resources. And by then you could have caused a bunch of havoc. Your economy is still probably going to suck at this point, although I'm trying to fix mine up a little bit. Not continuously training villagers, though. That's on me. Sorry if that angers you. But anyways, we are running around just causing chaos. The AI is really stupid and sends all of its villagers after you, so this is actually way more effective of a rush than against multiplayer opponents. But we're about 12 minutes in, and this is when your average Steam player will reach the Feudal Age. So pretty much what I have to say is, if you're going to be doing this in average lobbies on Voobly, be prepared to lose some elo, because that's not going to work for you. They'll reach Feudal Age too soon, and you'll be pretty much screwed. But I am going to build a dock now, because I still have to acquire food from my shoddy early game. And I went a little bit far away from the villagers here, but good news is he was sending them out to go hunting, so it's okay. And I totally should have finished that lady off. Oh wow, that's a shame. But you just want to wreck your opponent's base and just do it before they can react. So yes, this strategy I imagine would be effective. I don't know how much in multiplayer. I haven't tried it in multiplayer, as I have said, but I don't know. Maybe it would work out. If someone would like to test it in multiplayer, please leave a comment below telling me how it worked, and I'll probably address that in an annotation in this video or something. But that's pretty much the gist of the game. So thank you all for watching. I hope you guys found this entertaining. Hopefully you will one day try this against the AI, because it was actually really fun to do this. And have as much fun with your cheese as I did. So rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys all later. Goodbye.